Thank you, Cahirley, and I'd like to welcome the Minister of the House. This is a tragic case. As we all know, Amnesty International have declared Ibrahim Halawa a prisoner of conscience. He is the only Irish citizen who is currently resting in a foreign jail who has been declared a prisoner of conscience by Amnesty International, meaning that he is innocent of all charges. We know that on the 21st of April last year, the Department of Foreign Affairs said that there had been inaccurate reports a week ago that Ibrahim had been tortured, yet Reprieve and other human rights organisations have said that he had a risk of torture and that they understood that he had been tortured, which is tragic when you think of this Irish citizen, a young man in a foreign jail, had been subject to torture. That is one issue. But the other issue is the issue of charges. And his own legal team are of the firm belief that he is facing the death penalty. Yet in the Dáil, the Taoiseach said he was facing lesser charges. And his legal team maintain the position that he is facing the death penalty. Now, we need that clarified. But what we also need is what works. I think we all agree on that. But what works is what the Australians have done. And what the Australians did at the highest level is they pursued the President of Egypt on Decree 140. And Law 140 allows for prisoners to be released prior to a trial taking place. And this is a legal opinion from the Daly Street Chambers and from Kevin Winters, law firm in Belfast. Daly Street Chambers, of course, internationally renowned, and in fact Imal Clooney has been involved on this case as well. And this opinion said, to quote directly, the Irish government maintained that Law 140 cannot be applied. And it had to wait, to quote directly, strictly speaking, the course of a trial process, we have to wait until he gets a trial. Now, to quote the Australian Foreign Minister, Julia Bishop, acknowledged on the day when Peter Greste, their citizen, was sent for retrial. After the original trial had been overturned, quashed, their citizen was sent for retrial. Greste is now back in a position of an accused person awaiting a trial, which is exactly where Ibrahim Halawa is today. And Law 140, according to Ibrahim's legal team, clearly allows for the transfer to Ireland of Mr. Halawa prior to a final judgment being given in his case. And they urge the Irish government to pursue Law 140. And I'll quote the translation for Law 140 now. It permits the transfer of an accused and convicted person to their states for the purpose of trying them or carrying out their sentence. You'd imagine that we will be pursuing Law 140. Now, last year in the Foreign Affairs Committee, I proposed that his legal team, Kevin Winters' firm, would come down from Belfast, and if they were available, Daly Street Chambers would come over and give their opinion on what the Irish government, what we as a parliament and parliamentarians could do. And we had a vote. It had to go to a vote, believe it or not. And Fine Gael and Labour voted that no, we would not have their legal team and give us evidence on what they think should happen. What does that say? Now, I know some people believe in soft diplomacy, and I have been known to pursue it on occasions, but sometimes I don't think it works. And what I can tell you in this case is it has not worked for Ibrahim Halawa, and it will not work for Ibrahim Halawa. But what has worked and what will work is Law 140, which I've quoted here. And Fianna Fáil will be asking the Foreign Affairs Committee to invite down Kevin Winters' law firm and to invite down Daly Street Chambers to come before us and tell us what they believe will work. But I believe what will work is what worked for the Australian Peter Greste. He is now back in Australia, having successfully been, his release being secured by his Prime Minister, having pursued the President of Egypt to have a presidential decree under Law 140, a man who actually had not been convicted but was released prior to his trial taking place. I would ask that members of this House who have party representatives on the Foreign Affairs Committee would ensure that this time we have transparency. And by the way, we will be putting down a motion on the order paper that was passed by the European Parliament, supported by Fine Gael members of of the European Parliament, but when we asked for it to be supported here by Fine Gael and Labour in this House, they would not do so. They would not do so. And we would ask them this time, when we put that motion down next week, that they would do so, calling for Ibrahim Halawa's immediate release. Thank you, Cathaoirleach.